Surprise, Nicks and Bruises, we back. Uh I saw you guys a little bit earlier, most of you on MBK channel, episode 2, The Losers Lounge. If you didn't see it, go check that out over there. I got my guy Josh in the building. Josh was actually supposed to be on the show earlier, but I'll let him tell the story. But needless to say, he's here now. We're gonna talk about this Mitch topic real quick in and out, and then I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your night. But appreciate y'all for joining Your Blackest Time. Josh, what's good, man?
Salute, man. What's going on, Tony? My bad about earlier. I was passed out, just getting tired. You know what I mean? Work is, it's the middle of the week, so I just need that little nap, and I apologize for not getting on there. But I'm here now, and let's see what we can do here.
Yeah. I named this show Mitch Snaps. You know what I mean? and for those of you who don't know, he put a little Snapchat out
Which I
where
have, which I have. I was able to get just now.
we'll talk about it. We'll put it up there. Go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah. So let's see. I don't know if anybody can see that. Tony, you have any trouble seeing it?
A little bit.
Let me see if we do that. No, what if we do that?
I mean, I got it a little bit blown up on my screen, so I'll just read it. It says, tired as F of just being here for cardio. Fam, like I want to play basketball to really just waste my time and energy.
Right. Yeah, and I think the people on YouTube can be able to see it. It's blown up enough that they can be able to see it. I just have it on the other screen. So yeah, I mean, listen, this is kind of crazy for me because I think Mitchell Robinson. I've always said that I thought Mitchell Robinson, or the Knicks specifically, needed to have a center that can be more involved in the offense. And Mitchell Robinson is not the type of center where you can throw the ball down to or go get a bucket. Right? You can't do that with Mitchell Robinson because he really doesn't have any offensive game. What I do appreciate is the fact that Mitchell Robinson wants to be involved in the offense more as a little bit of a focal point, as a go-to guy, kind of similar to like DeAndre Ayton. He can throw the ball down there and go get a bucket. I don't think he's going to be on Joel Embiid's level or Jokic or anything like that. But as a center, for the Knicks to throw the ball down there, I think that's extremely important because, if Mitch can be able to get some buckets down there, I think he'll have some favorable matchups because of his length. And that he can be able to just get like a little jump hook, baby jump hook or something like that to help our offense be a little bit more versatile. Big thing for me, as everyone knows, we did the show yesterday, the post game, and over the season, the entire season, my thing with the Knicks is offensive versatility or lack thereof. And adding that dimension, adding Mitchell Robinson as a threat on the offensive end, outside the rebounds and everything else that he gives us, which I'm very appreciative for, outside of that, I just would like the Knicks to have something a little more that they can do whenever they get in the pinch, whenever they can't get a bucket. And I think having Mitch, say this kind of stuff gives me, it's a positive for me because I think he's hungry and he wants to get his touches on the inside as well. So that's just how I feel about that, just from the initial when I first heard about it. That he's hungry and he wants to get the ball a little bit more. So.
Look at this. Josh calls me Optimus Prime, and here he is taking the Optimus approach. I am shocked and surprised. I honestly am taking the controversy approach because I think this is not the right move. This is not the right time. Now, there's people out there that's like, that's Mitch being Mitch. He's joking. He does this every year, which is pretty true, pretty accurate. But there's a time and a place, and there's a time and a place for everything. Games, jokes, you know what I mean? Being serious, playing around, messing with the chemistry. Like right now, we are trying to build something, right? Tibbs has been preaching the sacrifice thing. I'm shocked at you, Josh, because I get what you're saying when you say you agree that you want to see some more things from him. I agree with that, but you've never believed that he had the ability to show you more than what he's done.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I don't know if you're taking the stance that you believe he can do more now, or you're just saying I agree, and you're taking a, like I've said, an optimist approach. Because yeah, we all want things, we want more from you, but excel at what you do best, and more importantly, excel at what we need you to do best. Like if we need more from you, that's one thing. If the team is getting down on you because you're not doing more of these things, that's one thing. But to be down on your role potentially, especially when you're coming off of back-to-back games where you didn't close, and it's not like you didn't close and you, it was warranted for you to close. You know what I mean? Like Hartenstein played his butt off, effort wise, intangibles. You know what I mean? Not scoring, impact, and winning. So, if anything, congratulate your teammate. Um, be happy for your teammate, and kind of learn from it. You know what I mean? Like, take, all right, look at what he did and say, all right, maybe if I could do a little bit more of this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Or I just stay out of foul trouble. Like, look at yourself in the mirror rather than just pointing the finger. That's the only thing. And I'm a Mitch guy, so
Right. Yeah.
it's like, dude, grow up. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't seen those immature things from you this year, right? Like, this
Mhm.
is probably the most maturity we've seen from you, and it's the timing too. Like, it's coming off of two games where Hartenstein closed, but he earned it. Like, it's not like you fouled out, or you know what I mean. It's not like you deserve to do more, or be on the court at the end, or whatever the case. You haven't shown the ability to do more than what you do well. And and my thing has always been, you could be a hell of a player just doing what you do well. Great. You know what I mean? Like, just those things, and you can still be a hell of a player. So
So, yeah, I mean, so first things first. I think this what Mitch his Snapchat. I think that's and him complaining about the cardio running up and down the floor. Him wanting to get involved more. We presume that's what he's saying. I think that's completely independent from Isaiah Hartenstein closing games. Let me just put that out there. I think that's
okay.
completely independent. I don't think Mitch is mad that he wasn't out closing games at the end. Um, I think Mitch Robinson, because this is not the first time he said something like this in regards to being involved in the offense more, right? Before it was about, shooting 3-pointers. We've seen him in the offseason taking those threes and stuff like that. So this isn't the first time he's done that. And I want to push back a little bit on what you said in regards to the timing of it, as if, you come across as if this somehow is going to hurt team chemistry or something like that. I don't think that it will. I just think that Mitch, like you said, Mitch is being Mitch. And, I don't think this is a timing issue per se, right? The reason why, and I agree, I think Mitchell Robinson does have some stuff he has to work on. There's someone in the chat, Kareem Grant. I know you just started to comment. We'll bring it up here now that I'm going to mention. He said if Mitch wants to be an offensive threat, then he needs to work on his free throws, or else what's the point? And that's very true. Very true. I can't argue with that part. But I like the fact that Mitch is actually hungry and he wants to be involved in the offense more, because from a team perspective, offensively, I think that makes us better as a team if we have another threat inside the paint. If you notice, if you watch the two losses on the road trip, the Clippers and who was the first team, the Kings, right? The Knicks went through stretches, specifically without Brunson. They didn't have Brunson in either one of those games. They went through stretches of that game in which they couldn't get to the paint. So they were getting offensive rebound after offensive rebound, and then they were settling for 3-pointers because they literally had no threat in the paint. Randall has become a basically ball dominant perimeter player. He starts on the perimeter and then works his way in, right? He's going to get double teamed, and they're going to shield his way to the basket for the most part, so he can't get in there. RJ is slow footed. If RJ is not in movement, RJ Barrett's not getting to the paint, right? He doesn't really have a type of bag where he can be able to take someone to the paint one-on-one from a stationary position. That's not really his game. His game is in movement, getting him out in space, getting him the ball when he's in movement, and that's how he's going to be able to get to the basket for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
So outside of that, and Brunson, the Knicks really don't have any offensive threats in the paint, with the exception of Mitchell Robinson grabbing an offensive rebound and putting it back up.
Do you think the Knicks bypass him, overlook him? Do you think they miss him on plays?
I do. I do. I think, but a lot of that comes from what you said in regards to him. We don't know what he's able to do, or he hasn't proven enough inside, as far as post moves and things like that. Now, I'm not telling Mitchell. Real
Real,
quick, I'm
real
not.
quick,
Yep. Go ahead.
because another quick question: Would you also agree that this is the most we've seen them look for Mitchell Robinson, especially outside of just the lob this
No.
year? No.
No, I think it's Mitchell Robinson's role in the offense has been the same since he's been here. Really, his role in the offense is to grab offensive rebounds, be there for putbacks, and dominate the offensive glass. That's what Mitchell Robinson's role has always been. And I think it's still that way now.
That's not what I'm asking. Specifically, this year they've
Mhm.
looked for him more than ever before. Than like combined, the past 4 years prior combined, they've looked for him more. It may have only been 5 times. You know what I mean? But that's still 5 times in 1 year compared to you might have seen it once.
I personally
In
haven't seen that
oh,
personally from
they
my
have,
view.
they have,
I, I mean,
and
I mean,
and, and and
okay,
and a lot of that has been him actually seeking a mismatch, or a small guy on him, or him finding position in the post and actually having his back to the basket. He's done that a few times this year, and they
I,
actually looked for him.
I
So
personally, I personally have not noticed that part of Mitchell Robinson. But if you say it's 5 times from zero, I mean, I guess that's a slight improvement, but it's not enough, in my opinion, to say that they've been looking for him a considerable, much more, right? And I think a lot of that is based on what you said in regards to, you know, us not knowing what Mitchell Robinson can do, right? I think, and I'm the last person to tell a player to go rogue. I'm the last person to do that. But I think offensively, if Mitchell Robinson wants to show what he can do down there, he has to be able to take some more attempts at the basket, particularly when we look for him. So maybe in those 5 times you say in which the Knicks have found him looking for a mismatch, you got to
mhm,
be able to do something with that mismatch. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Drop
and
step,
and and and
hook shot.
and it hasn't always worked, but you
Right,
know what I mean. Like, but to be honest, like I've even championed it after games. Like, oh, you see Mitch try to do the post move, you see Mitch try to do the jump hook. Oh, you know what I mean. So we've seen it this year. It's not like once a game, which maybe that's what he's saying. Give it to me once a game, and if
right,
that's the case,
right.
I think this is fair. I just don't like the fact, this comment I got up here right now.
I like what he said. He should have just went to the team and Tibbs in private. They're winning now. Get in where you fit in. But again, I don't think this type of snap is anything that's going to be detrimental to the team. And in
I,
fact, I think it might be something to help the team.
mm,
Right? I think it might be something. Now, if anything, if you want to question the timing, I think he should have did it early in the season.
yeah, I agree. That would make
I,
that
I
would
if,
make
if anything,
that
but
would make
again,
that
yep.
would make sense. I agree.
But at the same time, I don't think the timing of it is that detrimental to the team where it could affect any type of team chemistry. I think Mitch has played his role since he's been here. I think he's having a
I,
good
when
season.
when I say the timing, I'm specifically referring to the last 2 games, or maybe 3 games, where he hasn't closed out games, and
Right,
and whether he's look. And again, you saying there's no correlation. I'm stuck on the correlation, because that's why I'm saying the timing is
right.
because it looks like jealousy more than champion your teammate, or looking in the mirror and saying, I gotta do better. I gotta those few post up moves and times that we've looked for him, it's also based off of his effort of recognizing, I could outpower this guy. Oh, they got a mouse in the house. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, he has to take that responsibility too, and then make it vocal. You know what I mean? Make yourself large and seen. So it's not for him to just put it on. Oh, like, who are you blaming? It don't sound like he's blaming himself. It don't sound like
I
he's
mean,
looking in the mirror and taking any responsibility.
it's a two-way
Literally,
street. It's a
you know what I
two-way
mean?
street for
It
sure.
sounds like he's
Yeah.
simply saying somebody else has to fix this, not me.
Right, and I think it is a two-way street, and I think you're valid as far as Mitchell Robinson taking that responsibility. Like you said, I think Mitchell Robinson hasn't done enough to basically make himself open, right, or do stuff like that. I think it is a two-way street, but at the same time, I do see where Mitch is coming from. If he feels like he can be a threat out there, and I think in these type of situations, saying it is not. You want to show it, right? You want to show it on the floor. So, not telling the player to go rogue, but if the Knicks give you the ball what you think is a preferable position down low on the block, make a move, do
I,
a jump hook, do something like that. So then you can start opening people's eyes because you saying this
you know
for the
what's
past few
crazy?
years, you know,
I made that exact argument some time back, and you was on the opposite end of it.
about the
You
players going rogue.
specifically Mitchell Robinson, and if you see something, you know what I mean. You took it as him actually breaking the play, and my thought was the opposite. If you see it and you know you're capable, take that.
But that
You
was
know what I
two
mean.
different things, Tony. I think that's two different things. We were
I
talking about defense, and we were talking about a player double teaming and going outside of the team's overall defensive scope, as opposed to this Mitchell Robinson
no,
having a preferable matchup.
no, I was just specifically referring to Robinson
I don't
and
think that.
offensively. This was some time ago, but I promise you, we were on the exact opposite scopes. And
Yeah.
you said, "Oh, you want him to go rogue," and I'm like, I didn't say rogue. Like,
No,
you know what I
I
mean?
think
Like,
when the whole only time I mentioned rogue was in regards to the comments about double teaming in certain situations and defense, because that is a team. The
that was
defense is a team thing, right?
that was
So,
more recent. That was more recent. I know what you're referring to.
right, yeah, I don't remember ever saying
This
that
might
about
have
Mitchell Robinson
honestly,
a
this
long
might
time
have
ago.
been last year because, like I said, Mitchell
Right,
Robinson has brought this up year in and year out. You know what I mean? At least once a
right.
year. And maybe I was also thinking maybe that's the reason why he does it this way, because he's done it in the past. There hasn't been any repercussions. You know what I mean? It hasn't been like any, when I say repercussions, I don't mean like from the coach. It hasn't been like a negative side effect behind it.
Right.
And to your credit, I want to say the last time that happened, the very next game, he did seem to have been looked for more. You know what I mean? Not in the sense of what I'm talking about this year, but in lobs and just rewarding the big man. He get a block. All right, let's go feed him. You know what I mean? And things of that nature. I think what he's saying has it's valid. You know what I mean? Like there's valid points to it. I understand his frustration, but I think there's like why put that out there? It's great for us. You know what I mean? It's great for the content creators to have another little topic to talk about. But I don't know. Why not just talk to your point guard or your, you know what I mean? Like, talk to your teammates.
So you mentioned something about Mitchell Robinson being jealous, or potentially being jealous of Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't think that's the case at all. First of all, Mitchell Robinson's locked up for 4 years. We have him under contract for 4 years. He's going to get his money, right? That's number one. Number two, I think Isaiah Hartenstein, even though he's been tremendous for us over the second half of this season, because the first half he was not that good. Let's just call it what it is. Even though he's been tremendous for us, I still think what the Knicks are going to do, and the reason why they signed him to that sort of contract, that 2-year contract, he's going to be moved next year. Particularly if the Knicks are going to improve and try to go after that star. I think Isaiah Hartenstein has the type of expiring contract, because that's what he's going to have next year, in which the Knicks are going to be potentially moving him. Because if you look at what the Knicks have done from the front office perspective over the past couple of years, that's how they sign players. Outside the Evan Fournier contract, every other player that they've signed, veteran or player coming in from a different team, has been 2 years. Kemba, Taj Gibson, Derrick Rose, all these players, like 2-year contracts. Isaiah Hartenstein, Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, right? So I think Isaiah Hartenstein kind of fits into that mold, and I don't think Isaiah Hartenstein or the team is going to be looking to sign Isaiah Hartenstein long term. So I don't think Mitch has anything to be jealous about when it comes to Isaiah Hartenstein. Also, Mitch Robinson's still starting. Right? I never thought it was a question. I thought Mitch Robinson was going to start from the beginning of the season. I don't, period. You know what I mean? And I think him not finishing games and closing games is based specifically off of individual matchups rather than favoritism. I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but I don't think Mitchell Robinson has anything to be jealous about in that regard.
Well, when you talk about the contract and the money and all that, that had nothing to do with my argument with jealousy. I said specifically what. First of all, I never said he was jealous. I said what it sounds like, what it looks like, what it could be perceived at because of timing. And so I'm not saying he is jealous. I'm saying
the perception,
the perception. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to run with that narrative. Had it been another game where whatever the case was, you closed the game and these comments came out. Now that particular narrative is taken away. It can't be used. Right. You know what I mean? So that like again, I'm not accusing him of being jealous. I'm just saying, and as far as him not closing the game, I'm sure he's not happy about that. As far as you know what I mean, like that don't gotta be jealousy, but I'm sure he ain't happy about that.
Right, of course.
I'm sure he you know what I mean. He feel like he could have impacted. The most important thing is that comment I highlighted earlier, and that's the free throws, because if for no other reason, that's a reason that will keep you off the floor. That's a reason. That's a reason where they will not look for you when a basket is not a definitive basket, as opposed to, you know what I mean. If it looked like you got to put it on the floor and then go up, or it looked like you got to turn around and then go up, they're gonna second guess whether to give you that ball as opposed to it look like a lob. All right, he gonna go get that. This could be a bad pass, but he gonna go get that. You know what I mean? Right. Like, so there's reasoning behind it. Again, he gotta look in the mirror. I just don't like. I don't like that projecting outwards, because that's not what we see from the rest of our team. You know what I mean? Like, for the most part, people own they stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta be better. I gotta work. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to hear from Mitch, and we have yet to hear that. And I'm not trying to kill him because he's still my guy. Still got faith on him. I even tend to lean towards that's just him being him, trolling and things of that nature. But even with that, grow up. You know what I mean? Like we trying to build something here where little, like any little nick in the armor. You know what I mean? Like we don't need that.
I think that's a lot of that is for lack of a better word, PTSD from you in regards to the Knicks and the Knicks and bruises and stuff like that.
Well, I don't think it could be catastrophic, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like that's I'm not going that way. I'm just saying why do anything that could be turned into a negative? When I say negative, I'm mostly always talking about outside. I mean the podcasters, the fan base, I'm not talking about internal shit. If I think it's internal for real, I'll definitely be specific.
But negative. So why say anything that could be negative from the fans towards the team? Is what you're saying, or from the media to the team? But do you think the team even pays attention to some of these podcasts? Like if your argument is mainstream media, I would, and I thought that's where you were going. I didn't think you were going to say the fans. If your argument is mainstream media,
I'm including them too. Okay. I'm including them too.
Fair.
But yeah, the mainstream media, it'll get to the players quicker.
Absolutely.
More definitively.
Absolutely.
But do I believe that whether they watch anybody's shows, whether it's the Top Dogs or the Little Nick podcast, whether they watch any of them, I'm not saying that, but best believe that some of these clips, some of these information, some of these little things get back to them.
Trending on Twitter and stuff like that. I understand that, but I can look at it. But I can look at it in a positive light as well, because again, I think the Knick offense, and like I mentioned last night, and I'm going to expound on this on a controversy on Friday. I'm going to do a show on Friday. I think the Knicks' lack of offensive versatility eventually will be their downfall, whatever round that is, right? Whatever seeding, whatever round, however well they do in the playoffs, I think that's going to be their downfall, right? And a lot of it is on Tibbs because that's the type how he likes to coach. The Knicks run a ton of isolation, but they get into these moments offensively where they can't get the ball inside, literally cannot get the ball inside. And I think this can turn into a positive, particularly, let's say, for the next game on Saturday, I believe, right? They decide to look for Mitch more, and he decides to do some things. So that can turn into a positive. You see what I'm saying? So there's a couple of ways we can look at it. But I do agree with you. I do think Mitch Robinson has to look at himself in the mirror and do everything he can to kind of change that perception on his own instead of just being argumentative and pointing the finger.
I would love to ride with him and be like, yo, you see what he's doing
Right.
out there? Give him the ball down low. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to have faith that, oh, you give him the ball, even if they, because they can't stop him, even if they're going to foul him and it's going to be two regardless. It's either going to be two or it's going to be three with an N. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to have that confidence in him. But
right, he gets fouled a lot down there too because of his ability to grab offensive rebounds. He's a lot to deal with. So that's how he's getting majority of his points, from second chance points, offensive rebounds, hustling, stuff like that. He keeps a lot of plays alive. So his role in the offense is extremely important already as it is. I just think for collectively, for our offense to take the next step, we need to have a little bit more of a threat inside. Particularly, Randall's not playing on the inside for the most part. He's going to be out there on the perimeter, especially with Brunson being down. And that's just how he plays, right? If Randall was more of a in the paint, interior, park himself down there, go give me the ball, get the hell out the way type of player, then I wouldn't necessarily see the need for Mitch or anybody else for that matter to do that. But because the Knicks run majority of the offense the way they do, a lot of isolation, a lot of perimeter isolation, that's why I come from that position with Mitch Robinson. But I think you're correct. This comment, King Center 718, he says, salute to you and thanks for doing this live. Remember that I'm legally blind. I appreciate you guys doing this. My brother, our pleasure. We love, giving content to the people, to Knicks fans, even though people don't agree with me for the most part. And me and Tony and Sam always go back and forth. We definitely appreciate, giving you guys this content.
And appreciate you tuning in. I'm glad you found the show and enjoyed the show. Speaking of I forgot what you just said, but basically, I did not think we was gonna come in here and agree today.
Right.
I thought I was actually taking your approach, and you came out here and took what I think would have been my normal approach in this, and looking at it as a glass half full thing. I was gonna run with that Optimus Prime Monarch too, but I don't know. I think you
and I'm the Decepticon.
So this is just like a quick show. Yeah. Appreciate you jumping in with me, Josh. You missed the earlier one, but we made another show out of it, so it worked out great. Appreciate you guys in the chat as well. As always, man, there's no show without you guys. Anything you say you got a show you're gonna do on Friday?
Friday, 6 p.m. I'm gonna do a show. I'm still working out who the guest's gonna be, but definitely getting on Friday. I like getting on the off days when the Knicks don't have a game to talk Knicks. Because more people will be able to tune in. Obviously, they can't watch the game because we're not playing that day. And basically, what I'm gonna talk about, I'm gonna clarify my position in regards to the Knicks separating the regular season from the playoffs, and my comments specifically about what my expectations are. And just real quick, Tony, but along with the show thing on Friday that I'm going to do, 2 years ago when the Knicks were going to the playoffs, I had a very, very probably one of my most controversial shows in which I mentioned, and I got a lot of pushback from this, that if the Knicks don't show up in the playoffs, it will be a failure. I'm sure. I don't know if you remember when I did that.
I remember specifically because I think the actual show, like it came off of a little debate we had. I don't know if it was off air or after a show, but I remember.
So I just want to be clear with my position as the Knicks are going to transition over into the playoffs. I think they're going to make it, right? I think they're going to make it, but I want to basically amplify my position so that everyone is clear, right? Because I got a lot of comments from the post-game show last night where people I got called a bunch of names and all this stuff. And I'm going to highlight some of those comments and I'm going to show them on the show and I'm going to expound on my position. So tune in for that. You don't want to miss
The controversy. Get ready for it. Get your popcorn. You know, get ready for it. I don't know, man. I'm tired. I feel like I've been potting all day. I'm gonna go finish watching um the Giants Die Hard Giants podcast. I could put the sign on after this. Go back over there or go check them out if you haven't. My guy, I am Jarrell Eru Queens over there right now, and check out the controversy on Friday. Sim will be back, I think, tomorrow doing something. And appreciate you guys as always, man. Josh, appreciate you. I'm gonna try to. You said 6:30. I might have to catch half of it on my break,
it.
and the other
Six,
half
six, six on Friday.
even better. I could definitely catch half of it on my break because that's a
Right.
late break, and I'll catch the rest when I get home. But yeah, we out of here.
Rest in peace to Bobby Caldwell. I know a lot of people don't know who that is, but he's the person who sung the song "What You Won't Do for Love." He passed away this morning. That's one of my favorite songs. So yeah, rest in peace to Bobby Caldwell.
That's right. Go stream it. Go stream
Yes,
it
please.
and support the family. We out. Oh, it didn't work.